Hi, my name is Jennifer Jeswali. I am a 41-year-old mother of three. My boys are Christian and Caleb. Christian is 13 and Caleb is 10. And my daughter is Gianna. Gianna is 9. And I was a stay-at-home mom for 12 years, and I was in an abusive marriage that I was trying to leave, but I was trapped. Um, the last 2 years, through leaving my husband, has destroyed my entire life. I have lost my children. I have lost all of my money, all of my cars, my house, and I'm having a hard time becoming employed because I have also incurred criminal charges throughout this. I do have a protection of abuse order from my husband for 3 years, but that doesn't stop him from getting me into trouble. He said that I attacked him one night when he was out drinking all night, and he called the police on me, which he has been police happy. He loves to call the police to control and hurt me, and the Murraysville police are aware of this. In the past, that morning he had the police officer decided to take me to jail, even though my husband was drunk and I was sober at home with my kids all night long. They took me out in cuffs in front of my children, all in the living room. And then 2 hours later, I had an iPad hearing, and the judge said that this is ridiculous. And he called my ex, my husband, and said, come pick up your wife and get along. So the kids and Gino, my husband, came and picked me up from jail, the local jail there where we lived in Murraysville, and took me home. And then he took my son Caleb to football. And then that night he came home and was terrorizing me. And the next morning I went straight to the courthouse and I filed a PFA, protection from abuse order, against him. And we started the divorce process. This has been 2 years. I have not been able to get divorced, so I had full custody of my kids. We are living in our marital home. Um, he was really, really mad. I was told by my public defender at the time that I had gotten a PFA against him, which was the only thing ever to be able to get him away from me. That was the PFA. Um, so now he just haunts me and controls me and hurts me through the court system. So back in 2018, he was so mad that I had got the PFA that he went to the district attorney's office. My public defender told me and asked, what can we do to her? What can we do to her? And when I went to court thinking that the simple assault misdemeanor that I had been charged with that night that morning that he picked me up from jail a couple hours later and went to my son's football game, was then up to a strangulation felony. So that was shocking because I don't have a criminal record, and I, am a single mom trying to get on my feet, and I'm college educated. I was in grad school, and I luckily had a job that I loved at the time where I could stay home with my kids, and these charges, the employer at the time were really supportive of me and going through this, because everybody can see this as a waste of tax payers dollars, and it just happens to also be ruining my life. So I had full custody of my three kids. So when we first split, he was threatening that he was going to take them from me, and I was scared a little bit about that, but everybody assured me that there's no way that could ever happen. So we went to court in December 2018 for custody, and it was solved very quickly and easily, as he and his attorney already knew exactly what they wanted, which was he get them every other Saturday night. He would pick them up at like 6 or 6:30, usually later, and we would actually meet at the police station to exchange the children. And lots of times he wasn't available because of his work schedule, and many times my daughter did not want to spend the night there because she didn't feel comfortable sleeping there without me. which he was fine with for many months. For the most part, he was always fine with that until he got a girlfriend. So we made accommodations. So it was basically like I was still a stay-at-home mom. He's out of the house, but he's now haunting me and torturing me through the courts. So within 2 months of us splitting up, so the day we split up, he had got me charged with a simple assault misdemeanor, which he is 6'3". I am 5'1.5", 110 pounds, and yeah, had no marks on him. And in our state, there is a law that if you say that someone choked you and it's somebody that you're having sex with, they can automatically charge you with a felony strangulation. And that's what they did, which I will get into the criminal stuff. That's not the issue, other than it's hurting my life. With getting a job now, I'm basically unemployable. And yeah, and I'm still, it's just stress of having this is still going on for 2 years. So I had full custody, and that was fine. I had my kids all the time, and that was what he chose. And I was like, yes, that's fine. Want my kids all the time. That's great. And then he was supposed to get them on Tuesdays for like 2 hours, which was always an ordeal because of, again, his work schedule and getting there to get them. So during that first year, me having full custody, he was able to steal the house from me. Him and his attorney lied to my attorney and said that I could move back to Ohio, where we're from, if I sold the house. And I agreed to put the house for sale, and then immediately started making arrangements to get moved back to Ohio. And he, that same day, started telling my son and messaging me that they never said that I could move to Ohio, even though I can have emails from my attorney to confirm this. And his attorney told mine and my attorney straight to my face that this was the case. I could move to Ohio if I sold the house. Well, that wasn't put in the order for whatever reason. So then I refused to put the house for sale because the deal was that I either keep the house, with the kids, or we move to Ohio. So he was just trying to get me out of the house at any cost. The judge at that point had told him that he's responsible to pay the house payment, and he stopped paying it. And he got the judge to charge me $500 that for not putting the house for sale. So I end up putting the house for sale, and then I have to then move. I'm here with no family, new single mom with 3 kids. I then have to move to another house within the school district, and I have barely any money, and I'm trying to work, raise my kids full-time by myself, and get them to all their sporting events, which is fine. I mean, I was doing it, but he's, in the process, he's having my cars. He had my Suburban voluntary repoed. He got the truck stole off me through PFA court, which we have 4 cars, or we had, and lots of toys, and he has a pension and a 401k and all these things. And I've had 5 divorce attorneys through the last 2 years, and I cannot keep paying them. They cannot get legal fees from him, and they lose. So the custody divorce judge has never liked me in any of the court hearings. It's never been positive, and many of my attorneys act shocked, like, "Oh, I wasn't expecting like that to happen. That was crazy. Like, I can't believe she acts like that." So that's been my so I get back, so I get moved into their rental house because he gets me kicked out. So he goes with another attorney to go through PFA court to steal property from me, because he's saying he can't access his marital property or house, and he's blaming me for not paying it. And this is in front of a different judge. Okay. So the one judge says, list the house, pay the bill, Gino, and she can stay there until the house is sold. I was already in the process of moving out. I didn't know what was going to go on with this house and this realtor, and I had found a house that was good for us, and he was taking me to PFA court to also steal the house. So he lied to the PFA judge and said that I was the one that's supposed to be paying the house payment when it was his, and that it was going into foreclosure, and he had to get me out now to save the house from foreclosure. So these were all lies, but he was able to get me out of the house, and me and the kids out of the house, which was a lot of work, stress, money, and all of those things for me. We got into the new house, and he moved into our marital home. We're still not divorced. We had, in July 2019, we had finally a hearing for divorce, and it's called We Go Before the Master for an all accounts hearing. Gino, this is something that he desperately wanted to avoid. I know since before we were even separated, because this is something that we had talked about when we were still married. And I was trying to leave him, and we had talked on amicable terms. He wanted me to do nothing through the courts. Blah 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 blah, which that's another thing, is he had lied multiple times with his child support and paying me the least amount of child support, and then he was unemployed for a while, and they were allowing him to mail in his own child support checks, which is basically unheard of, and he like just stopped mailing them. So that's another point. So then I'm trying to get back to Ohio. I'm in this house, and we have a relocation. So my next attorney is like, well, all we can do now, Jen, is have a relocation trial hearing. And my attorney had also at that time told me to take my PFA, my protection from abuse order transcript, to the police station to try to press charges against Gino, since he was proven guilty by a judge for rape and violent physical assault. So we did that too. I mean, there's just like no progress with that, I guess, because they don't care. I guess I was the first one charged and whatever. So then we went for the relocation hearing, and as I said, nothing ever goes in my favor in this courtroom, and it was a really crazy experience. Like every time in this courtroom, that only has gotten worse. And she denied my relocation, and I was trying to get a copy of my transcript for my relocation hearing, to possibly get another attorney to try to relocate before my next relocation hearing, because there was going to be another one scheduled. She just keeps rescheduling things. So, denying and rescheduling, and that's what's been going on with keeping my children from me as well. So long story short, I was getting really aggravated because I had been going through all of this shit, criminal charges, losing the house, the cars, not have, him taking all my money, still not divorced. Oh, I forgot to say, July, when we went for the all accounts hearing, we all show up, and somebody had called and canceled the all accounts hearing. He said it was a woman that had called and said that we had settled it outside of court and left a voicemail. And I actually, so I know, I mean, me and my attorney were completely shocked. It was probably another plan of Gino's or Eric D's to prolong this. I have a feeling it could have been Gino's sister-in-law, who works for the courts, could have called, but they asked me if it was me that called, and I'm like, absolutely not. I am here to get paid. I'm here to get paid. I would never call to cancel that. So I've never been able to have an all accounts hearing, and still to this day, over a year and a half later that we had that hearing scheduled, that was canceled because they weren't able to then fit us in that day. He's still trying to not get me to do an all accounts, but he still refuses to settle the divorce outside of court because he doesn't want to pay me. So, I'm trying to get a copy of my relocation hearing transcript, and they are not giving it to me. They are not cooperating, and they're actually even sending me fake paperwork, which is all can be proven on my Facebook, my old Facebook public, Jennifer Conley Jeswali. They were sending me fake documents and giving me the runaround on all of these things. And so they ended up telling me to bring a money order for the transcript. I did, and I got there, and they still were not giving me the transcript. And so basically I was just standing in the office it's like the treasurer's office, where it's a public area where people come to get transcripts and other things at the courthouse. And so I was on the lady, she's like, I don't know what's going on, she's not going to give you your transcript. She hands me the phone, the secretary lady. I get on the phone with the lady who I had been speaking with, and which I had actually already told her that I was going to record because I was getting so sick of this, and my therapist told me I need to start recording this shit because it's so crazy. So anyways, I get on the phone, and I get my phone out, and I record myself talking to this lady on the phone, okay? You can see what I was doing on Facebook. Basically, you can just hear me talking, saying, ma'am, I'm here for my transcript. And there's a news article on this because they ended up charging me with wiretapping. And in the news article, they said I did not bring the correct amount of money. But again, if you look at my Facebook page, my old Facebook, you can see I have in the comments, I think, of the video of me trying to obtain my transcript. In the comments section, you can see that I said, or that I brought the exact correct amount of money. I'm sorry. So they charged me with wiretapping, and this is directly related to the judge's courtroom who is handling my custody and divorce. And I've never heard of wiretapping in my entire life. Long story short, my attorney that I got for that when I found out so Friday I was there wiretapping, supposedly, which I was not wiretapping. I was not wiretapping. It does not fall under the wiretapping laws in Pennsylvania. That's not what I was doing. This is another waste of tax dollar money. So that was a Friday afternoon that I was trying to obtain my transcript, that September 13th. And then Monday, my kids came home from school and I was working from home, and I saw that they had emailed me my transcript. And then 30 minutes later, police banged on my door for my kids, and they gave them to my ex and to his girlfriend, who were waiting outside. And they had maybe met the girlfriend like 2 times before that. And basically they were giving me an order. It has no reason still to this day, there is still no reason given as to why my children were taken from me. And then the next week I find out there are wiretapping charges that come out for me. And I got attorney Blaine Jones, and he tells me to lay low while he gets it worked out. During this time frame of me still dealing with the strangulation, there was a call of the criminals, which is a little hearing that you go to before you decide on whether you go to trial or not. I've been to lots of these calls. I've never missed court. And apparently it went to Gino's house, and my attorney did not tell me about it, and I missed the call. And so Blaine Jones, this was my other attorney who was working on the strangulation. Blaine Jones was just for the wiretapping. So then Blaine Jones he had worked it out where I wouldn't have to go to jail for the wiretapping. And I tried to get him to work it out where I wouldn't have to go to jail a year later for the strangulation. Well, they revoked my bond on that. Long story there. I spent then 79 days after my kids were ripped off of me, and I literally had a nervous breakdown. I drove around for 3 weeks trying to lay low from police like my attorney had advised me to. Without my children, I am been the only caretaker of our children their entire lives. My ex has never been around to take care of them, and we have no family here. So I'm driving around the country, or around Pennsylvania and Ohio, where I'm from, trying to lay low while I'm not eating, sleeping, and I'm totally stressed and losing my mind because my children were ripped off of me for absolutely no reason. I'm a wonderful mom. I did nothing ever to hurt my children. I never have, but take wonderful care of them their whole lives. So then I spent 79 days in jail, and then I got out of jail, and we start doing these review hearings for custody to get my kids back. I'm a year into this. I still have no idea why my kids were taken. So the judge says last time we were having a review hearing that I don't have my kids because I did a video on her. Well, I did a video on her because I was doing videos for attorney Blaine Jones about this entire story because he wants to sue my ex civilly along with helping me with my criminal side. And which he is no longer my attorney either. So I started these videos for him explaining like the money, the strangulation, the wiretapping. And then by the time I was at my wit's end of weeks of going by with hardly any food, sleep, driving around under stress, not knowing what is going to happen next, what is happening, in severe shock. I'm pretty sure I had a heart attack while I was on the road. I did some videos that were like, I need my kids. This is crazy. This is going on. Help, basically. And I did a video to the judge, like the judge did this to us. And so, but that still doesn't justify why she took my kids, because those videos came after, and obviously for a good reason, because I was in severe shock. People say they would kill people, go or kill themselves, or be in a mental institution if something like that happened to them. So that was my reaction. I did some videos. I was actually sending them to my therapist as I was doing them. who is still my therapist and is trying to help me through this. So they're wanting me to pay, or I have to pay $75. It was $80. They tried to get me to a place that was $100 an hour. Right now I'm paying $75 an hour to see my kids. I went to jail. They took away the judge took away my spousal support, which I should be getting for 2 more years. Refuses to give it back. I've had 2 more divorce attorneys since I've been out of jail. Nobody can do anything. I have barely any money, and any money that I get, I give to an attorney, and they lose. My side basically can say 0 words in court, and me included, when I'm there by myself without an attorney. We can say nothing. My side gets cut off, and my children are being kept from me. My ex is an abusive, controlling man. He's doing this to hurt me. My children are medically exempt from vaccines because my son had seizures and almost died. And he's letting the girlfriend take them to doctor's appointments and get them vaccinated and take them to the doctor and do all these things and keep them from me and try to act like I don't believe in Jesus because I took them to just anything to get my kids against, to reverse what I've done to help my kids, hurting my kids, all in spite of me is what it is. So she wants to be mommy and get attention, and he wants to hurt me and get negative attention. And so now they're running rampant with my children. And I'm able to talk to them on the phone once a day. And it's always a struggle, to get them to answer the phone. I even went months without talking to them at all or seeing them at all, which is a long story, but they have just been keeping them from me. They've been keeping them from me no matter what I do, no matter what attorney I get. They're keeping them from me. This judge had me get a mental eval. I had already got one in jail, and it happened to be from another mom. She's a therapist and attorney, and this judge stole her daughters from her and gave them to her ex. And this is the lady who I happened to meet in jail, who did my mental eval. I passed. Well, I needed to do a mental eval through the judge's chosen psych guy. I did. I paid $550 for that. That was supposed to prove whether I could have unsupervised visits. He said there's absolutely no reason for me to not have unsupervised visits. He was supposed to watch my videos, and he did. And he said that was what you call adjustment disorder. I was having an adjustment disorder, to my kids being ripped away from me, and it is something that goes away and people get over, once the trauma ends. The adjustment gets better within 3 to 6 months. So anyways, she then tells me that I need to go to cognitive therapy, which is not what the psychiatrist said. It's what she chose, which I'm already in therapy. I've been in therapy for probably 4 years now. And cognitive therapy, honestly, is just like basic normal therapy. So I've been in cognitive therapy. I've been paying $75 an hour to see my kids, which is unheard of. And usually these are foster care cases, and or the ones that are not, the parents are splitting, or the person who makes the more money is paying for the visit. So I cannot afford an attorney. I can barely afford a roof over my head. I cannot get my spousal support. I cannot get divorced to get any of my assets. I cannot get a good job because I have these charges on my record that should eventually be going away. I've been made multiple deals, and it's a waste of taxpayer dollars again. But they just don't come